Throughout my travels, I've felt warm. I felt cold. I felt active and I felt restless. I've traveled fast and I've traveled slow. I've been social and I've felt lonely at times. Moin from Maga, and I'm so glad you tuned in today because today I want to talk to you about a slightly touchy topic, one that is often disregarded when it comes to glorifying the digital nomad lifestyle, and that is how to cope with loneliness. Now, the first thought of people who know nothing about traveling or working remotely is that you get to explore all these beautiful places and meet so many amazing people along the way, and sometimes that's the case. But in reality, if you have ever been lucky enough to go on a solo trip, and I say lucky because traveling solo is amazing, then you probably know that traveling all by yourself and being surrounded by nobody but yourself for longer than, let's say, 2 weeks can get pretty lonely. Now, here's my own experience with loneliness and traveling solo. When I went to Australia in 2013 after graduating from high school, I wanted to be on my own. I was ready to stop caring about what my high school friends would think of me and ready to stop having to attend family dinners. I wanted me time and I got it. I got a lot of it and I loved it. But even in Australia, traveling around as a 19-year-old backpacker and staying in hostels, socializing a lot, I definitely had times where I felt absolutely lonely. In a way, traveling solo and being a digital nomad are incredibly similar, especially if you are a traveling digital nomad like I am. Because the freedom to work from home and from wherever you want also comes with the absence of social responsibility. The responsibility to show up in an office, to show your face.
Are you working?
Yeah, working hard. And even though that's exactly what some people might want, it also makes it incredibly hard to keep up with relationships, to create meaningful conversation, and to meet new people. Sure, there's no office colleagues to bother you on a daily basis, but there's also no office colleagues to go out for lunch with, to talk about your boss with, or to go out for drinks after work with. You get the idea. Being a digital nomad doesn't have to be, but definitely can be pretty lonely. Now, you might think that I can't be all that lonely because I have Greg, my boyfriend, travel partner, and life partner, and you're absolutely right. I'm incredibly grateful to have found someone that I can share this lifestyle with, that I can travel with, and who loves travel as much or probably even more than I do. But what you might not expect is that as a traveling digital nomad couple, socializing can actually sometimes be even harder than as a solo traveler or digital nomad. Because traveling and working takes up a lot of time, you tend to get sucked into that twosome bubble, and before you know it, 2 months have gone by and you haven't talked to one other single person. And at least in Greg and my case, we do spend a fair amount of time each year apart, partly intentionally, because we're both independent individuals and need our time apart, and partly because of work. So we do find time to feel legitimately lonely every once in a while. Which is not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing, is it? That was my imaginary Greg, who is not here right now. But I like to talk to him or myself whenever there's nobody around.
Of course, Nelly. I 100% agree with you.
Alright, but in this video I don't want to be complaining. I want to tell you what I do and what you can do too whenever I do feel lonely throughout my travels. Number 1 is I go outside, I go shopping, or I go to get my hair cut. Of course, these activities are not necessarily solving the root cause of feeling lonely, but they can definitely be temporary solutions. Because sometimes just being surrounded by people, even though you're not necessarily talking to anyone, can make you feel less lonely. So setting up your laptop in a cafe, going to shoot sunset, or talking to your hairdresser can distract you from the fact that you feel lonely or fill the void at least for a couple of hours. Second is I call my mom, a friend, or whoever wants to talk to me. With the lifestyle Greg and I chose, neither of us do get to see our families very often, and sometimes I believe that's a good thing. You might know that families can get pretty intense if you spend too much time around them. In this way, we definitely wholeheartedly look forward to the times when we do get to travel home and see everybody. And the best part about old friends and family is that they know you inside out, that they won't judge you, and that you can be entirely honest with them. So calling your parents, your siblings, or an old school friend is definitely the way to go to overcome loneliness during your travels. But of course, you also shouldn't only be in touch when you're feeling lonely. You should also call them because maybe they want to talk to you, or because something really exciting happened in your life, or just because. My third advice is to connect with other digital nomads or travelers. This is probably the most effective way to overcome loneliness while traveling, because you're engaging with real people in real time and not just with a person on the screen. Now, how do I find like-minded people while I'm on the road? There's a couple of different options that I have used in the past and that I want to walk you through. Say what you want, but to me, Facebook groups are absolutely gold. How many times in the last 2 years have I found the solution to a problem that I'd been looking for so long in a Facebook group? You can pretty much ask for any recommendation on like how to do accounting for digital nomads, how to find a remote job, or where to find the best cafes to work from in that particular area you're situated in. And if you're interested, I will link a couple of my favorite digital nomad Facebook groups below. The second option is to find a co-working space near the area you're staying in. And co-working spaces are essentially like offices for digital nomads and remote workers. Which is slightly ironic, because isn't the office life what we originally wanted to get away from when we became digital nomads? Right, but that's where you'll definitely find other digital nomads. Personally, I'm not sure how I feel about co-working spaces, just because I'll be more likely to spend a couple of euros on a coffee in a cafe to work from there than to spend a fortune on a membership of a co-working space in a place that I will end up only using for a couple of weeks. The third way to get in touch with other digital nomads is to go on conferences, workshops, tours, and cruises that are especially designed for digital nomads. Creators and organizers have definitely found a bit of a goldmine there, and I wouldn't deny that it is a bit of a money-making business. However, it is a great way to get in touch with other creators and to work, live, and create side by side with other traveling nomads. As the digital nomad lifestyle is gaining popularity, you'll probably discover more and more opportunity to get in touch with like-minded people and to find your tribe, if that's what you want to call it. Or you could just go back to the classic ways of saying hi to a stranger. And that's actually how I have met some of the best people and made some of the most amazing lasting friendships while traveling. I hope you enjoyed this little insight into the perks and challenges of the digital nomad lifestyle, because I have decided to focus a little bit more on those topics in 2020. Subscribe to this channel if you haven't already, and keep being awesome and commenting and liking if you are already subscribed. Your support really means the world to me. Next week there will be more visual content from my temporary home base here in Malaga, so I guess I'll see you there. Tschüss, bye, and hasta la próxima.